Hello everyone, welcome back to the Montana Farm Bureau Field Notes podcast. My name is Haley Drugsma. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Digital Communications Lead here at the Montana Farm Bureau Federation. I'd like to kick today's episode off with a reminder that if you have anyone you would like to see featured on this podcast, whether that be yourself or someone you know, please shoot me an email at haleyd@mfbf.org. That's HALEYD@mfbf.org. I'm in the game of bringing you all the relevant, pertinent agriculture news, so please send me in any of your recommendations. Without further ado, let's get into some general Montana agriculture news. On August 15th, the Montana Department of Livestock confirmed a case of brucellosis on a bull from a Beaverhead County herd within Montana's designated surveillance area. The herd is now under quarantine while an investigation is conducted. The bull was initially flagged as a suspect during routine testing in July, euthanized, and confirmed positive by the USDA's lab. Investigators will now trace animal movements to ensure the disease hasn't spread. Montana's DSA aims to detect brucellosis early due to risks from infected wildlife in the greater Yellowstone area. The disease can cause serious reproductive issues in livestock. Authorities credit the DSA program for successfully catching the disease before it spreads beyond state borders. This marks the 14th case since the DSA's creation in 2010. Past infections have been linked to wild elk with no evidence of spread to nearby herds. A master's student at Montana State University, Ricardo Javier, who also spoke at our Montana Farm Bureau Summer Conference, is testing a new technology-based method for phenotyping winter wheat using aerial imagery. His project uses drones equipped with multispectral sensors to collect data on grain yield, plant biomass, and fusarium head blight severity, a key wheat disease in Montana. Javier's research involves capturing images from test fields and using machine learning models to analyze vegetation indices from the images. These indices are then compared to actual field measurements to evaluate the accuracy of the ML predictions. The goal is to determine if UAV drone imagery and ML can accurately and efficiently assess plant trials, which could speed up the winter wheat breeding process by improving selection for productivity and disease resistance. Seed inspectors, or agricultural scientists with the Montana Department of Agriculture, play a key role in ensuring the accuracy and integrity of seed labeling in the state. According to Ed Evanson, Montana Department of Agriculture Commodity Services Bureau Chief, the job is ideal for detail-oriented individuals who are tech-savvy, process-focused, and comfortable working both indoors and outdoors. Inspectors license seed dealers, conduct inspections, investigate complaints, and sample seeds to ensure compliance with standards for identity, purity, viability, and weed contamination. This helps prevent mislabeling, such as falsely labeling uncertified seed as certified, which can harm farmers and the industry. The role requires a 4-year degree in a related agricultural or environmental science field, though equivalent experience may be considered. Inspectors are based in 8 regional offices across Montana and earn $32.55 an hour. Regular travel for field inspections, trainings, and meetings is essential. Their work ensures that Montana-grown seeds meet quality standards, protecting both consumers and the broader seed market. Montana farmers, particularly in the Golden Triangle, face major losses from the wheat stem sawfly, with estimated damages of $66 million in 2024 and yield losses of up to 45% on some farms. To combat this, researchers at Montana State University are leading 2 innovative projects, the first of which being wheat odor research. Entomologist Tiziana Opadesano and her team are studying how wheat stem sawflies are attracted or repelled by volatile organic compounds, odors released by wheat at different growth stages. Some wheat varieties, like Vita, emit scents that attract sawflies, while others, like Dagmar, appear less attractive. The team is identifying these odor compounds with the aim of developing odor-based traps or repellents and forecasting tools in the future. The second project is using drones equipped with hyperspectral cameras to detect early signs of physiological stress in wheat caused by sawfly larvae, damage that typically isn't visible until it's too late. Early trials with 6 wheat varieties showed solid and semi-solid stem types had better resistance and yield. A larger field trial with 36 varieties, spring and winter wheat, is currently underway. These projects are part of MSU's Growing Precision Agriculture initiative, aiming to develop practical and early detection solutions for managing sawfly infestations and reducing economic losses for farmers. Montana is one of the 11 states whose attorney general joined a federal lawsuit supporting South Dakota ranchers challenging the misuse of the product of the USA label by the nation's 4 largest meat packers. The lawsuit claims that since 2015, these companies have deceptively labeled imported beef as domestic, misleading consumers and undercutting U.S. cattle producers. Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen joined the amicus brief, signaling bipartisan support for protecting ranchers and enforcing accurate labeling. The case argues that falsely labeling imported beef as U.S. made has hurt U.S. cattle producers by depressing prices and eroding consumer trust, with estimated damages to the industry as high as $50 billion since 2019. For Montana ranchers who are major contributors to the state economy, this case is especially relevant. It highlights ongoing concerns that imported beef can be marketed as domestic if merely processed in the United States, disadvantaging local producers who raise cattle under strict standards. Montana cattle producers have long called for stronger country of origin labeling laws to protect their product integrity and market share. A new USDA rule effective January 1, 2026 will mandate that only beef born, raised, and slaughtered in the United States can carry the product of the USA label. In 2025, Montana saw one of the highest increases in cropland rental rates nationwide, rising 8.2%, adding pressure to farmers who rely on leased land. While pasture land rents remain flat at $15.50 per acre, rising costs and softening commodity prices have made margins increasingly tight. Federal aid is helping farmers stay afloat, but this support is temporary and not driven by stronger market fundamentals. At the same time, competition for farmland is increasing due to remote workers, energy developers, and investors. Uncertainty around the Conservation Reserve Program could further shift land availability, adding to the volatility in Montana's land and rental markets. Wrapping up today's Montana agriculture news section with an important message as we enter into September, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. Farmers and ranchers often face higher stress levels than most due to the unpredictable nature of agriculture and the immense responsibility it carries. Factors like commodity prices, weather, debt, time demands, and family dynamics all contribute to distress, which can harm both physical and mental health. Many agricultural producers also feel the intense pressure of the agrarian imperative, the belief that losing the family farm equals failure, leading to elevated stress and even suicide risk. Recognizing stress early is key to managing it. Stress can show up as physical symptoms like headaches or insomnia, or emotional responses like anger, sadness, or withdrawal. Healthy ways to cope include getting enough sleep, taking breaks, setting boundaries, exercising, eating well, and talking to others or journaling. Glennis McClure of the University of Nebraska emphasized the importance of communication, balanced living, and asking open-ended questions to support others under stress. Ultimately, she reminds producers, a healthy farmer ranch is nothing without a healthy you. Now transitioning into some Montana Farm Bureau news. Montana Farm Bureau members joined state and national leaders during a meeting on Wednesday in Choteau to discuss grizzly bear conflicts and the need for a realistic, sustainable number of the federally protected species in the area. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte, Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Director Christy Clark, and Joshua Corsi, Senior Advisor to the Director of the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, listened as area landowners and residents shared their thoughts on the bears. Before the afternoon meeting, Governor Gianforte and Director Clark took an aerial tour of the area to get the big picture of where bear densities have caused concerns with landowners and residents in the Choteau area. Governor Gianforte elaborated at the meeting.
Our position's been really clear. They were listed for good reason. They have recovered. They need to be delisted. The data I've seen here recently from the biologist is when the grizzly bear was listed, the target recovery population was 700. Current estimates have us 1,300 bears, almost double the recovery quota.
According to Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, grizzly bears in the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem have long passed recovery objectives, and expanding populations have increased conflicts with communities and landowners on the Rocky Mountain front. Grizzly bears in the NCDE are still protected under the Endangered Species Act. Governor Gianforte has petitioned the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to delist grizzly bears in the NCDE and turn their management over to the state. That petition was denied in January of this year by the previous administration. That administration also released proposed rule changes relating to the Endangered Species Act rule that would give some states additional management tools. Those proposed rule changes have gone through public comments, but the final version has not been released. As grizzly bear populations have increased in the NCDE, conflicts have also increased with farmers, ranchers, recreationalists, and residents, making the need for additional management tools even more important. Front Range County Farm Bureau and Lewis and Clark County Farm Bureau sponsored a reception where ranchers had the opportunity to share the challenges of trying to raise livestock in bear country. Misty Redland, who ranches with her family west of Shodo, shares her concerns.
We live with grizzly bears 24/7 all year long. They, are through our yard. We see them almost every day in the summer, and it's a big concern. Being able to protect our livelihood and our family. It was very encouraging to know that there are people working for us to kind of help us solve this problem, and I guess I feel like I'm leaving with some hope that there is an answer to this problem and that people are working to get to the bottom of it.
Montana Farm Bureau District 9 Director Carl Christians, who attended the event, said, "The word for the meeting was promising. I've been at meetings before with the Fish and Wildlife Service, but I came away from this meeting feeling that our state and federal wildlife agencies have our interests at heart. It was eye-opening to hear the personal stories of what people who live here are up against." One rancher noted that she loses more than 15 calves each year to grizzly bears. Other people can't even let their kids out in the yard in the summer. It's important to push for delisting so the bears can be managed responsibly. During the August 21st Montana Fish and Wildlife Commission meeting on wolf trapping and hunting regulations, the Montana Farm Bureau advocated for a sustainable, managed wolf population. In addition to a representative speaking at the Helena meeting, Montana Farm Bureau also submitted written comments on the issue. The commission received over 1,100 pages of public comments regarding the species management. After hearing comments and providing discussion, the commission voted on a quota for wolves statewide, excluding a 3-wolf quota in districts 313 and 316, which are close to Yellowstone Park, and a 60-wolf quota in Region 3, which encompasses southwest Montana, for a total quota of 458 wolves. "What is of utmost importance is that state management of wolves be maintained," said Montana Farm Bureau State Governmental Affairs Coordinator Carly Johnson, who shared the organization's views during the commission meeting. "We appreciate the good work of the department and commission to continue to manage wolves in a sustainable way while taking into consideration the detrimental effect wolves have on ranchers and being willing to continue to work to keep the population in check. Since Farm Bureau members lose livestock to wolf predation, management is a strong concern." MFBF outlined the many ways that wolf predation has long-term economic consequences on livestock and ranches. A recent article from the American Farm Bureau Federation outlined those, including the direct loss of animals, stress-related impacts on livestock health, and the costs associated with mitigation efforts. It estimates that wolves in Montana cost ranchers nearly $23 million through increased stress on cattle and additional management expenses. It is important to note that these costs occur even when there is not direct predation. Just the threat of predation can cause increased costs as ranchers take precautionary measures to coexist or cattle deal with stress related to the presence of wolves, noted MFBF Executive Vice President Scott Kolbeck. He added that livestock owners have made considerable efforts to coexist with wolves, but that has come at a substantial cost. These impacts underscore the importance of maintaining a balanced wolf population, one that considers both ecological sustainability, continued state management, and economic realities faced by Montana's ranching community, which represents the largest segment of the state's largest industry, agriculture, Kolbeck pointed out. Montana Farm Bureau supports the use of regulated hunting and trapping as responsible tools for managing the wolf population. They believe that increasing hunting and trapping quotas offer a win-win solution for Montana's landscape and helps keep working lands in working hands and provides opportunities for hunters and trappers to engage with an iconic species. Now we're moving into the Members in the News section with Yellowstone County Farm Bureau President Jody Drange's recent feature on MTN News, speaking about her family's beekeeping operation. They are currently extracting honey, which is quite a lengthy process. Wood frames containing honey and honeycomb are placed onto a conveyor belt which works to separate the wax from the honey. The frames are then placed in a metal centrifugal extractor which rapidly spins the frames to separate the honey from the wood. Afterward, the honey and wax are separated one last time before the canning process.
We have a hard time finding employees here that want to come work in a sticky, hot, and get stung operation. We run 6,000 colonies of bees, and we run them on 200 different sites, from all the way here from Laurel to Hysham, and then up to Broadwater, and some out in Big Timber. We're probably doing at least 3 days a week right now. If it's on a really, really good year, we're going 5 days a week. There wouldn't be Montana agriculture without beekeepers. Bees are responsible for 1/3 of all the food we eat.
Let's shift now into our upcoming events. Hoofing It for Hunger 2025 is coming up quick. This annual 5 and 10K race will be held at Depot Park in Dillon, Montana on Saturday, September 20th. Registration will kick off at 10 a.m. with the 10K starting at 10:30, the 5K at 11, and awards at noon. There's also a virtual runner option if you can't make the in-person race and would still like to contribute to the Montana Food Bank Network, help feed our hungry Montana neighbors, and receive a t-shirt. Get ready for District 6 Fall Fest. This wonderful event brings together Richland, Dawson, Webo, Macomb, and Prairie counties for dinner, dancing, a keynote speaker, door prizes, and all sorts of fun. Andrea Fleming, known as That Fit Advocate online, was recently announced as the speaker for the event. She will give a powerful presentation sharing her story of what life is like as a 27-year-old farmer. She'll talk about breaking stereotypes, working with family, and cultivating confidence. You won't want to miss out on Fall Fest, which will take place on October 4th in Sidney, Montana. Stay tuned and like the District 6 Farm Bureau Fall Fest Facebook page for more details as they're released. Don't forget to also mark your calendars for the 106th Annual Montana Farm Bureau Convention and Trade Show running November 17th through the 20th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Missoula. More information to come as we approach that date. And that wraps up this AgNewsWire Listening Edition episode. Again, if you want any more information on the news I discussed in this episode, visit mfbf.org to join the Montana Farm Bureau and sign up for our bi-weekly e-newsletter to keep you up to date on all Montana agriculture and Farm Bureau news. Thanks all you lovely members of the Farm Bureau family for tuning in today. Catch you in the next one.